Welcome back. We have on the left-hand side Team GangBangGangaRang, and on the right we have Team B. This is just a friendly matchup. I think we're just going to keep a loose score, and that's about it. So let's just see on Infernal Shrines first pick. Currently, just if you lean more just purely meta side, you want to just kind of get rid of, like, you've got your Genji, you want to get rid of your Uther, your Ariel, but then again, like on a map like this, you can do really well with some of your solo Shriners. Like you've got your Sonya, who can easily just, if you got a 4-man who can push into a lane, capitalize on a kill. And then you got your Kerrigan, who can also, I mean, she's not the most strong hero in the game, but she does have that ability to clean up on the shrines. First ban out of GangBangGangaRang. Not even hovering, I'm curious. So there's the Uther. So they can squelch out one of the top tier heroes. It still leaves your Ariel, your Rhaegar. I was actually just questioning this earlier. I don't know why, but it's mostly because I don't play support. I'm not sure why Lucio like fell so quickly out of the meta. If it's just Ariel, Uther, and Rhaegar just kind of fit currently where we're at. I don't know. That's just one of the things that I noticed. Counterban coming out, since it is a 3-lane map and there is, you know, enough, you want to have a lot of lane presence and lane pushing, Dahaka ban wouldn't be too bad. They're going to go ahead and take the Genji ban. So I wouldn't be surprised to see GangBangGangaRang to be picking up the Dahaka here. He's just extremely useful on this map. The push power that he has, he can easily report to, you know, he can be in top lane and just burrow down into bottom lane if there's a shrine that pops like that, so he can push to the extent and really be that nuisance. But that's definitely that, or, I mean, you could just pick up like your healer at this point, but I feel like you're just giving away too much if you just avoid it. Then again, I've never casted or seen either of these teams play, so that's the other factor. Tassadar is actually picked up first here, and interesting. He is an extremely strong solo laner. He's great to provide vision to his team, as well as a solo Shriner too, because of the fact that he can put down a Psychotic Storm and easily just whittle down those skeletal defenders. Response pick out of Team B here. Not too sure what they would be leaning. I guess you could pick up easily. You could pick up your Ariel and then just go ahead and pick up Greymane as well. Those two would not be. Ooh. All right, so they go away from the healer, but they definitely pick up the Greymane. And Greymane itself, like, he's also a very good solo Shriner, and Anubrak's just a solid tank at this point. He's extremely hard to kill. He's got an out. He's got just armor for days. So. And then post 10, if he takes web wrap, the utility to, if you have, I mean, I don't foresee a solo Tassadar healer, but or support, but you never know, because he can just web wrap the healer, and that just completely shuts down an entire team's just ability to sustain an entire during a fight. And also, depending on which healer you have, locks out whatever utility. So if it's a Malf, there's no more fear of tranquility. You can go in full force till that web wrap is unraveled. So Dahaka is picked up here. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see... Okay. I always kind of lean Lunara, but obviously Vala is probably way better of a pick. She pairs well into the Tassadar rather than the Lunara, so it's probably... I mean, then they can also Ariel. Oh, Ariel's actually being hovered right now. I was gonna say they can grab the Ariel, but they're already gonna. Team B is gonna just deny that right away, or at least they're thinking about it. No, they're actually going to lean more into the Arthas. So, I wonder if they're thinking that they themselves will pick up the Ariel next, because they do have the next pick. And that would actually pair well into the Greymane, and if maybe they can get someone else to fill up Ariel as well. Because they already have a solid tank. I mean, they could go with something like a Stitches to peel some of that front line away, and then have the once that front line's peeled back and separated, you can easily get that Greymane into that back line Vala Tassadar. Mostly Tassadar. But ban-wise, out of GangBangGangaRang, they could choke down the support, like they've already done, or they can take out like a Li Ming or actually Gul'dan actually does way better on this map than Li Ming, so I should actually adjust my own view on that, because he has so much wave clear and he's a strong shrine clear as well. So definitely what they're going to want to look for here is maybe an off tank, but definitely a healer. And that Ariel is still up for grabs. They do have that opportunity to take it. I can't see... I'm just trying to think if there's any other tanks or anything. Like, there's a lot of people, like, there's like 68 heroes at this point, but it's like, you would never think that someone's just going to pick up a Rexar. So there's Lunara, and that's the Ariel. So those two pair well together, as well with the Greymane. Lunara having that amazing ability, if she does choose to go Leaping Strike, to get into that backline, and, I mean, if she whittles down that Tassadar real quick, then at this point they've got something to worry about, because they still need a solid main tank. Arthas has been banned out, so at this point Tyrael's always up for grabs. Tyrael's fine. He's actually really good at these choke points on Infernal Shrines as well. And then you could maybe go another off healer. Maybe that would work. Technically, with the Greymane and the Lunara, you could maybe roll a Lili into this. But they're definitely going to need, I think, some either support or off support. And then they'll need like a solid tank like Tyrael. So maybe a Rhaegar, Lili, but definitely I think a Tyrael. Because the Sanctification is really useful too. There's Rhaegar. And actually Stitches. So there was actually the Stitches I was thinking about earlier, because of the fact that he can actually peel that front line away. And that gives the ability for Vala, Dahaka, and Tassadar to kind of get in there too. And I wonder if they'll go... I mean, I don't know if it's viable, but Bloodlust, it's always cool to see it. On the side of Team B, they've got a lot of... They've got a well-rounded tank. I think maybe an off tank here would be pretty good. Like, I don't know if it's actually even popular or anyone plays it right now, but Artanis wouldn't be too horrible here. The swaps to get that Vala out of position, then once that happens, their damage numbers go way down. And then the Tyrael's also open too. I mean, you could just go ahead and take him. I think it's going to be the Tyrael, though. No way! It's going to be Illidan. Okay. All right. This is completely different than the draft that I had casted earlier. Alrighty. As people choose which heroes they decide to play, those should be locked in right now. And here we go into our first game of many. They kind of just said that they wanted to scrim for 2 hours, so I said I would cast them for 2 hours. So, on the left-hand side, we've got GangBangGangaRang, Rexpa on Vala, Caleb Reese on Rhaegar, Titan King on Stitches, Veteran Wings on Dahaka, Hedgie on Tassadar. On the right-hand side, we have Team B, Felix the Cat on Anubarak, Supreme Force on Lunara, Joyce on Illidan, A-Man on Ariel, and Focus on Greymane. So at this point, you'll probably see Illidan solo laning, Greymane solo laning. You'll run Lunara, Anubarak, Ariel in the mid. And then you'd probably have Dahaka solo laning. Then you'd run your Stitches, Vala, Rhaegar together and have Tassadar solo lane maybe? Or you could run like a 1-2-2. That's always, possible, but then again, if you just want that mid push. All right.
For battle, heroes.
Here we go. So at first level, we're going to see some of the standard picks coming out here. Assassadar is online. That's exciting. Hot Pursuit from Vala. We can probably assume it's going to be Nubarian Armor from Anubarak, but you never know. He could, for some reason, go... Oh, no, okay. He didn't go beta build. What a surprise. And then Enhanced Agility from... Stitches, I'm curious to see what he'll be actually picking up for his first talent. Because he is... I mean, you technically do have 2 off tanks. But you could build him tanky. I'm curious. Oh, looks like it's going to be the Slam Jam. And I think I actually missed it. I think I didn't say Titan King was on Stitches. That was my mistake. We are going to have an invade here. Stitches is getting in position. We do have the Vala flanking onto Anubarak, but he does have his burrow out, so he can be safe here. Greymane will just trade a little bit of damage with the Vala. We're going to see Tassadar rotating into bottom onto the Illidan. Tassadar's just going to play the safe game, laying up some experience. Illidan's just going to kind of get on him, and then he can just put a shield. Greymane is a little far forward here. He actually might get picked off by Titan King if he does get a proper hook. Oh, but the hook doesn't hit. Rhaegar's so close to getting that kill. If there was only a Hungering Arrow over the gate. We are going to see the Ariel Amon posted up in this bush, waiting just to see if maybe they can get a gank, knock someone into that wall. In top lane, we do have this matchup right here. I don't know if... that's going to be a little difficult for Dahaka, if I'm not mistaken. Mostly because of the fact that, we are going to have a converge onto Dahaka, but he will be playing safe by his gate. I think he did expect this because Lunara really started moving forward. Anubarak does miss the burrow. The whip does connect, but it keeps him actually a little bit safe. And Veteran Wings is going to have to kind of play the safe gate game while Illidan in bottom lane might get picked off here. He is rotating. He's trying to play safe. Okay. The team disengages. Tries to play it safe, make sure they have all their teams alive. They want to get collapsed upon because they do not see the other team at this point. And that is going to be the first shrine up, and looks like people are just going to lane a little bit more first. Looks like they're going to, in top, they're going to be getting rid of that front gate, and it looks like they're just going to start this in bottom because they do see 2 people having to rotate in from top lane, and they will not be coming in unless, well, they also see that Greymane and Anubarak have not come in yet either, but they can now. As you can see, they're kind of backing up a little bit, playing a little bit safe. We're going to see Ariel. They are going to get converge onto Caleb Reese. The Rhaegar, he does get whipped, but he doesn't connect onto the wall. Stitches is taking a ton of damage. Does he have a bite to keep himself alive? Titan King does fall. And that will be first blood of the game. And at this point, they get a pull onto the Greymane. There is a follow-up. He just walks away for the second time with just a barely bit of health. We're going to see just a little bit of side soak here. They're going to try and keep up with that little bit of advantage they got from that kill. But at this point, with the 30 Skeleton Defender lead, because of the fact that they started this so early in the late rotation from Lunara and Ariel, Illidan does get dives out, but he does get body blocked by the team, and he does have the dash out onto a friendly minion, but they are starting to do damage to him, so he is going to have to leave. Dahaka will take too much damage while Lunara gets pulled in, and that is going to be a 1-for-1 kill at this point. The GangBangGangaRang they got their Punisher, and they're just going to go ahead and just aggressively force Team B out of the lane. The hook does come out. It does not connect on Amun. He did predict that, I think, because he kind of rotated in an awkward direction. But they are going to have to just kind of forfeit at least, this is a free gate. Granted, the Punisher, it hops a little bit deeper, but they do save actually a couple of these towers, but Assassinar will come down and start to melt these. Meanwhile, in mid, Lunar is going to get pulled in. Nubrak will dive in, but just barely miss the burrow stun, but he does get his secondary off. Rhaegar puts down his totem to keep everyone fast and out. As we approach level 7, let's take a quick peek at some of these talents. We are seeing Stitches going into the full slam build. Looks like Vala is leaning more into her multi-shot build. Greymane is going to the full Gilneas cocktail. And looks like we have the Majestic Span, and they do have the increasing clarity. Okay. Nubrak is holding his 7 talent. We are going to see a couple of these camps picked up right now. Probably time. The Lunar gets ganked right away, but she does have the RL to keep her safe. There should be a whip right there. Greymane is down there, ready to fight too. He does get 2 stacks. We are going to see a little bit of aggression coming in here from Greymane. The team, this is a 4v3. The whip does come out on Stitches, but is there a hook to keep? Is there a hook to grab the Ariel? No, okay. There is none. The slam does come out, and they push up this lane up, but they do get the Greymane, who does not have a disengage currently, and he gets annihilated. And this is perfect timing on the side of GangBangGangaRang because of the fact that the Shrine should be coming any second, so we'll be having to rotate back in from the core. They get a little bit of damage, but the whip onto the Vala. The shield is there to keep her alive, but Nubrak burrows to try and get damage on her. There is the healing totem to keep all their team alive. They push in a little bit harder, and it looks like they're going to have to just play the safe. They're going to have to back up here, get full, because the Shrine in top lane is too long of a rotation with that low health. They can clear this camp on the rotation up while Dahaka has pushed this lane up, so they do have a little bit of an advantage towards their 10s, but they're going to need a few more minion waves or a couple towers to get to their 10s. And it looks like a lot of the teams are opting to soak as much as they can, so that way they can force for the 10. Dahaka will be in bottom with his NASCAR abilities. We are going to see Rhaegar stealing this camp right there, so that's going to be working out perfect. Dahaka does get that little minion XP. We're going to see Illidan is going to have to work with his minion wave, but it looks like at this point, no one wants to take the Shrine without having 10. Excuse me, never mind. GangBangGangaRang just started it, and it looks like they're going to, on the side of Team B, they're going to opt to just get this gate back off, have their 10s, so they can get in here. Illidan does have meta. We have the Curse Bullet, Aegis, Web Wrap, and there's the Leaping Strike. All right. So Rhaegar will push this lane up as best as he can before the team is going to rotate onto him. He does have the vision from that, but he did just use his dive to get in there a little bit deep, so he will have to use the slow, but he is going to get tackled by Illidan, and this is starting to turn for GangBangGangaRang. They do get the Immortal. They lose their healer. Illidan getting real sticky onto the Stitches, and Lunara, oh, the Gorge comes out. Deep in the backline, so he's able to body block the force wall from Tassadar, but he gets the meta out through Dahaka. The jump was actually baited. It wasn't baited over the wall, so they don't have that ability now. So GangBangGangaRang, they can push in a little bit hard here with the Immortal. They are missing their healer, though, so they don't have the ability to have that much to stay in the fight, because there's the Greymane. With all that damage, Dahaka does burrow down. He does have his essence, but Illidan is a little too deep. He does get the kill on Tassadar, though, so that is no healer. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Rhaegar is here back in the fight. The Ancestral does come out. There is the hook on to Greymane. Nubrak does get killed by, I think, the Punisher. So we are going to see just about, for that entire engagement, about a I forgot to even put my scores up. Excuse me. A 2-for-2 trade there. But that could change if Greymane is picked off here. He will just be walking away, hearthing back. And at this point, this is the part that I was talking about Dahaka. This is what I was talking about. He was in top lane. Everyone had to rotate back for health, whatever. He went straight into the lane, and he just got a fort for the GangBangGangaRang. And with the ability with these two, they should be able to get this camp uncontested. Tassadar is there to work on his stacks. Meanwhile, actually, speaking of that, let's take a peek. We're about a third of the way through for Tassadar. Stitch is about, or Dahaka's about halfway. And looks like Greymane and Ariel are just finishing out theirs. We do have this aggressive rotation from the Stitches. He does get the hook onto Lunara. There is the Gorge. The Force Wall to disengage the entire team. The Web Wrap is there, so they have Lunara. She does try and get out, and she will be falling. There is the Rain of Vengeance onto Anubrak. There is the Whip also to help. Tassadar does get a Force Wall onto this Ariel. She will have to take the long rotation, but she will get out safe. Meanwhile, though, in top, Illidan is making short work of this fort. We are going to see Rhaegar going ahead and getting that camp as well. So they're creating on the side of GangBangGangaRang. Actually, we're going to see this Dahaka rotated. And Illidan is going to dive over him. Vala is there. If he can just get the tongue, lock him down. There's a Vala damage. Does she have the Rain of Vengeance or the ball? Oh, the meta behind the wall. What a juke. And if I'm not mistaken, I think every team, well, actually, except for mid, doesn't have a gate. But at this point, this is where the Punishers really start to... They start to do a lot of damage. The hook out, but it just barely misses. We are going to see Dahaka in that top lane. He's going to be pushing up. Illidan does come towards him. He does not have meta at this moment. He's going to have to rely on that healing of the Ariel, but I don't know if she does Crystal Aegis herself, but she is put behind the gate. The Crystal Aegis then goes up. She doesn't have any way to get out. The gate wasn't even broken in time, and that is going to be a Nubrak falling as well. Lunara, if she gets tongued, the Greymane does try and distract a little bit. And it looks like, oh, just barely he got away from that hook. And that is going to be... I don't know if they have the time to get back for this. It looks like they don't, so Greymane will be getting that camp up top. Lunara will probably push out mid with Illidan, and I think they're just going to have to give this one up, unfortunately, because of the fact that they dropped two teammates right at the beginning of that. Dahaka is getting that top lane soak, but there is a possible convergence on him. He did see that camp was popped, so he does know to rotate away. In bottom, we're just going to see a little lane pushing, getting closer and closer to 16, spreading that XP even further. We're at just about a level here, level difference. Illidan does start to get a little sticky. He almost gets tongued, but he just gets right away. Punisher is up now. We're going to have to see a rotation out of Team B. I do not think that this keep gate is going to last, but that might be the only thing. There's this battle up in top happening, but this is going to be where the action is. Nubrak will try and bait the Punisher over. They will try and lead it over to their other keeps over this way, so that way they can get as much work. But they're going to make short work of that wall, try and get a hook onto someone, and if that Greymane connect happened, ooh, the Rain of Vengeance and Gorge. The hook, or the slam is there. They did actually take, I just noticed at 16, they did take Fishing Hook. So what they're going to do is they're going to take this gate. They're going to get a little damage. Nope. I was going to say they're going to take out their lane sustain, but that's not even going to happen. They're just going to play the safe game. They got the Punisher. They're pushing onto a keep in bottom. Definitely the next Punisher that goes down that lane is going to be taking that out. But then again, the next one could be also going towards GangBangGangaRang. The hook, the Fishing Hook, just narrowly between all the heroes. We are going to just really quickly see Vala in the bottom lane. She will be getting that camp, which will be pushing up in time. I would not be surprised to see her rotate into that other siege camp as well, just to push that into mid. And then this camp should be up fairly soon. I lied. 2 minutes from now. And actually, we are... Okay. That's what I thought she took. Okay. So, pushing into mid very well here. What they're going to want to maybe do with their 16 advantage, they could force a fight and then take a keep in bottom to get that catapult pressure. But nope, they're just going to go ahead and pick up an enemy hero. The Caltrops are there, but Greymane, he does get Aegis. There is the wall to protect, but another Caltrops comes down. Dahaka did... Oh no, there is another hook onto the Ariel. She does get locked down, and this is going to be a Nubrak falling. The force wall wasn't even needed. Meanwhile, Illidan is in top, trying to soak for that 16 because this is the reason they could take... But Lunara, she tries to hop over, but the force... She got pinned in between the enemy team and a force wall, and it looks like they're going to be moving on to the core. The hook does come out into a drag, into a force wall. The meta's there, but it looks like they'll just be burning Illidan down even though he's in meta. And that is going to be GG. First game going over to GangBangGangaRang.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go. I can't stay. Sorry. I'm gonna die for no reason.
Coming in.